made it, good. Good morning, everyone, and I didn't smack my sunglasses, that's even better. Good morning and welcome to the Tuesday, October 7th, 2025 meeting of the Candiac County Board of Commissioners. Please stand for the pledge. I want to welcome everyone who's here visiting with us today, as well as those who are viewing us on YouTube. First item of business is the approval of the agenda.
I would move on the agenda, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Indeck moves. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Commissioner Dwayne Anderson seconds. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. At this time, then, we also have several items for the consent agenda, including the approval of the September 16th, 2025 County Board legal minutes, approval of the auditor's warrants and claims, and the approval of the September 23rd, 2025 County Board special meeting legal minutes. Do any commissioners wish to pull either any of these three items?
Mr. Chair, I wonder if we shouldn't do those minutes separately. You and I were not at that meeting, so if we vote on those minutes, we're voting on something we weren't part of. Well, anybody can pull something. Let's just do it as a separate item.
So go ahead and, to the question of the September 16th minutes, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I so move, make a motion, we approve the September 23rd minutes, right? Or 16th? 16th.
16th
minutes, yes.
Okay. And one of the Andersons should second.
I'll second it.
All right. Commissioner Dale Anderson seconds. Any discussion? For those of you who were at that meeting, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. And then the balance of the consent agenda would be items B and C.
Also move.
Thank you. Is there
I'll
a
second
second?
that.
Great. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. At this time, we'll be hearing about, from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Blake, come on up, introduce yourself, and tell us why you're here today.
Good morning. My name is Blake Nisley. I'm a realty specialist with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. I'm here to present a wetland easement in section 29 and 30 in Green Lake Township to the board for what is called certification. Did everyone receive the easement packet that I sent? So we're looking at about a little less than 10 acres of wetlands that we're looking to put into an easement. A wetland easement protects the wetlands from being drained, filled, leveled, or burned. They can dry up naturally and be farmed. There is no restrictions on the uplands or the surrounding property. It just covers the wetland basin. They can graze it, they can farm it. This property is not open to the public. It stays in private ownership, and the landowner is responsible for maintenance and everything else on the property, the same as before. Are there any specific questions on this?
Are there any questions for Blake?
I got a
Commissioner
question.
Anderson?
Yeah, normally it's like for a whole property. It's not usually for just the wetlands itself. So I was kind of
Yeah,
curious about that.
We have two easement types. One's a wetland easement, one's we call a habitat easement. The habitat easement covers the upland and the wetlands together, so it's more the whole parcel. This is just a wetland easement. We've been doing these for quite a bit longer. We started with the habitat easements more recently. So this just covers the wetlands.
Okay. And so they don't have plans. I mean, right now the land, is it CRP or is it farmed or?
Kind of a portion. I think there's an expiring CRP contract on the west part. A portion of the east part is being farmed. We've kept most of the wetlands off the part that's being farmed. The ones that go out into the farm field are kind of more of a seasonal wetland. They can farm through them, they just can't run tile through them. So part of it's farmed, part of it isn't.
Okay, all right. I was just, that's why I was asking the question, because it was the wetlands only, so. Thank you.
Commissioner Imdag.
Yeah, just, usually people ask, well, where is this in relation to what? And I see Eagle Lake off to the west there.
Correct.
The artifact going through the middle of it, is that the DNR Glacial Lakes Trail?
That's the old railroad grade that going through that's turned into a bike trail. Yeah, just south and east of Eagle Lake.
Thank you.
All right, and what we were looking for, any other questions, first of all? And what you were looking for today from us is a certification?
Correct. I'm asking the board for what we call certification. I'll have a form here that I'll ask the chair to sign to note how the board votes.
Mr. Chair, I'd move on the request.
Thank you. Commissioner Imdag moves. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Commissioner Dwayne Anderson seconds. You're going to get a lot of workout today because I can see you.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna ignore us over here, right?
And with that, any other questions, comments, discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor of the certification, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank
And then,
you.
do you need that taken care of right now before you leave?
I'll
or-
leave it with Melissa. She can send it to me electronically. It's fine.
Outstanding. Blake, thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Next item is Canada County Emergency Management Department update, and we have both Ace Bonema and John Gilbertson with us today to present. Ace, good morning.
Good morning, Ace Bonema, Emergency Management Director. I'm just going to give a quick update before I turn it over to John for our department update. You've probably seen enough of me up here this year. We did get the approval from the governor's office yesterday for that second disaster. So we'll be letting the townships, county, cities know that they have 60 days now to add to the original estimates that they had. Hopefully with the two disasters, that'll be bringing back conservatively 1.2 million back into our county of tax dollars. So. And I'll turn it over to our emergency management specialist, John Gilbertson, for an update on our department.
Thank you. John, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Ace. You took half my speech, so good. My name is John Gilbertson, Emergency Management Specialist for Kahnawake County. I want to thank you for your time today. Today's presentation is informational only. My purpose is simply just to remind you what emergency management does and what we've been up to this year, and a couple of updates. I want to start with what emergency management is. Kahnawake County Emergency Management is responsible for the development of community-based plans and programs to maintain a state of readiness to meet natural, man-made, and technological disasters on a local or county-wide basis. Emergency management collaborates with a wide range of partners within Kahnawake County, including but not limited to law enforcement, fire service, emergency medical service, public health, public works, hospitals, governments, and volunteer organizations. In emergency management, we focus on four main areas: preparedness, response, recovery, and mitigation. I'm going to just briefly touch on all four of these and kind of how they affect our day-to-day. So, let's see, preparedness, assist in training and coordinating exercises to help prepare public safety and community partners to be ready for all emergencies. This year alone, we had a missing person exercise out at Sibley State Park. We also did 3 school reunifications this year. Under preparedness, we also provide education and outreach to residents on how they should be prepared. This year, we have attended the county fair, Willmar's Welcome Week, social media campaigns, and even tonight, I will be at the Willmar Fire Department's Family Fun Night, promoting and educating. The next area in response, is response. For example, in the event of the storms that came through this summer, we work with cities and townships to complete a damage assessment, as was the case for the June rain event and the July wind event this year. This helps identify what may be eligible for disaster assistance and reimbursement. In the June 2025 storm alone, it was estimated that there is $1.4 million in public infrastructure damage. During the response, we also work with the county board to help declare local disaster status. Depending on the situation, we may call in Public Works and MnDOT, and we coordinate and channel the services of volunteer organizations, such as the Red Cross, Salvation Army, the Wilmer Area Community Emergency Response Team, which we'll touch on later, and many others. Ace kind of touched on the recovery phase. We work with Minnesota Homeland Security and Emergency Management. We work with them for a state disaster declaration. As Ace alluded to, the state did declare both, the governor signed in both declarations. The final phase we kind of focus on is mitigation. Hazard mitigation planning reduces loss of life and property by minimizing the impact of disasters. The Kaneohe County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan identifies hazards in the county and how mitigating those hazards are prioritized. Our multi-agency hazard mitigation plan was last updated in 2022 and was approved by FEMA. Also in emergency management, we are in charge of the county safety department. Kaneohe County Emergency Management realizes that it has a responsibility to provide safe workplaces for its employees and safe environments for its citizens. Lost my spot. We accomplish this by organizing and hosting safety committee meetings with key staff and representatives from each building. We also implement annual mandatory safety training and specialized training for specific departments like Public Works, Maintenance, Glacial Lake, Sanitary, Sewer, and Water. Kaneohe County Rescue Squad is the next item I want to talk about. Kaneohe County Emergency Management oversees the Rescue Squad. Rescue Squad was established in 1948, and they currently have 21 on-call volunteers responding whenever that pager goes off. The Rescue Squad receives on average 138 calls per year. There have been so far 126 calls this year. Volunteer Rescue Squad members are trained in specialized skills. These skills which require training above and beyond the basics. Some of the training they receive includes first responder, emergency driving, extrication, heavy rescue extrication and stabilization, search and rescue both on land and on water. The last item I want to talk about today is new for our department, but not new for the county, is the Wilmer Area Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT for short. Kaneohe County Emergency Management has a privilege to be the lead agency that oversees CERT. CERT began in the Wilmer area in 2018 by the Wilmer Police Department. And to this day, the Wilmer Police Department and the Sheriff's Office both are administrators for the program. CERT volunteers are trained to respond safely, responsibly, and effectively to emergency situations. But they can also support their communities during non-emergencies as well. Once certified, CERT members can only, if requested, respond to emergency situations such as search and rescue, traffic control, school reunification and sheltering, and non-emergency situations like Polar Plunge, Wilmer Fest activities, Spicer 4th of July, Rockin' Robbins County Fair, and many others. The ability for CERT volunteers to perform these activities frees up professional responders to focus their efforts on more complex, essential, and critical tasks. We consider CERT a force multiplier. So far in 2025, CERT members volunteered at 30 different events with more to come this year. Currently, we have over 90 members certified. And we have, if anyone is interested, interested in joining CERT, we have a new member certification class coming up in November. I think that was in your packet, November 15th and 22nd. More information can be found on our website, on the emergency management website. And Ace, do you want to touch on the Raymond train derailment and how CERT helped with that? I'm gonna bring Ace back up.
Sure. CERT really made us look good. We had the train derailment, 1 o'clock in the morning, phone rings, dispatch says we need to evacuate Raymond. Okay, that's about 800 people. Where are we gonna go? Made one call to some of our CERT members down in Princeburg. They opened up the school. We went, set up the command posts and stuff. By the time we got there, Shelter was already set up. They had everything established. Everything from helping people bring their pets, where we're learning that people don't want to evacuate their houses if they can't take their pets along. We are fortunate that our region hosts the central region's kennels for pets and that type of thing. So we went and got some kennels and dog dishes and leashes, and we were set. A lot of good comments. Some of our CERT members are bilingual. We had a family there that didn't speak English. Instead of trying to have to translate through a child or something, they were able to communicate, and it just really made us look good. So like John had said, just so far this year, there's over 770 hours worth of volunteer time that they've committed already, and still lots of events on the calendar. So it's a huge force multiplier for us, and we appreciate the opportunity to keep that group active and working with the Sheriff's Office and the Wilmer Police Department on that.
Thank you, Ace. I was not there for the Raymond Tree derailment, so I appreciate that. We'll stand for any questions if you have any.
Commissioner Berg and then Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You've had quite a year. Very good. Your leadership, I know they made you look good, but the leadership that we have here and what's taking place is just, I've heard some good things and so many good things in the community about what's taking place and so much else going on. I was really surprised at 126 calls for the rescue squad.
Yeah,
Is-
that was
is
last
that
week,
up?
so I think it's probably 128 now. It's more like it.
It's like one every 3 days or more.
Yeah, not all of them they respond to. Sometimes they're
Sure.
canceled before they get out there, but yeah, that's how many times our pager has gone off this year. And that doesn't include trainings, their monthly trainings or their monthly meetings.
We are fortunate to have a rescue squad. There's not a lot of rescue squads like that in the state. A lot of them are covered by fire departments and stuff, but our rescue squad has worked with the Fire Chiefs Association and all the fire departments through the county, like filling air tanks for the SCBA's, helping on missing persons things, water rescues. It's just there again, really helping out and making sure that we're providing the best care. We send that page out as soon as there's a crash, not knowing if they're needed or not, so that they can cancel and go home, because we'd rather be proactive than reactive in that. We don't want to wait until they get there to find out that they need to be cut out of the car. So we're getting them going right away.
If I follow up on that, if I may,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, thank you. Yeah, the fire departments do that as well. You don't want to waste that time traveling someplace if you don't have to. The other question is, and I think you might have answered that then, I know fire departments, they have like mutual aid agreements and so forth. So the rescue squad will be doing that with other counties or other cities as well.
Yeah, a lot of times, I mean,
And that's good. I'm
Litchfield
not-
has a rescue squad, so we can call them to assist as well. But a lot of times, we're also getting called to our neighboring counties, especially across the
didn't know
county
that.
lines, that they may have a truck extrication, that the fire department needs a little more support. They have more of the heavy tools for, like if a train car, if we needed to lift a train car, they have the heavy lift bags, where some of the fire departments may not have all that gear. A lot of the fire departments are getting into getting the jaws of life and stuff so that they can help, but we're training with those departments as well. So again, it's working as a team.
For the experts in the community, there's a regional center here. Thank you.
Commissioner Anderson.
Yeah, thank you. So you said you need volunteers. You have like 21 right now?
For the rescue squad?
Yeah,
Rescue squad, we have 21. So
Okay.
the rescue squad, we're fully staffed.
okay.
It's
How many volunteers are you looking for approximately? If
For
you
our
could?
community emergency response team?
Yeah,
Last class we did in the spring, we had 18 new members start.
okay. And do they get compensated if they come or, okay, that's all
Strictly
volunteer,
volunteer.
strictly volunteer, okay.
So if you take the 2-day training, you can take the 2 days of training and you get trained on everything from our school reunification, traffic control, mental health in disasters. There's all sorts of different training in those 2 days. You can take that training and just be done, or you can say, yeah, I want to join the team. If you join the team, you get a backpack full of goodies, hard hat, the reflective vest, flashlights and all that. And then you decide what you want to respond to. It's kind of, it's not a pressure situation where you have to come to all these meetings and you have to come to all the training. We do offer training once a month. 1 month it's on a Saturday morning, and the next month it's on a Tuesday evening, so it can adjust for people's flexible schedules. And then if there's a call, we send it out either using our rave system or Facebook pages or telephone, and just ask people, we need traffic control help at Prairie Pothole Days. Can you help out? And so then people will call and sign up for that. If you want, show up. If you don't, that's fine too. So it's really no pressure. We have some people that are just signed up because they want to help us if there's a school reunification plan. So we don't see them very often, but all of a sudden we have a school thing and then they're showing up. So it's just education for them, to how to take care of their family first, then their neighborhood and their community. And then we have the diehards that they'll show up for everything. They'll be trudging through the weeds and mud and snow. You'll see them helping pass out turkeys later this year. So there's all sorts of things that when we're learning how to help with these community events, like traffic control, that just helps set us up for disasters. And it keeps our camaraderie. We know who, we're working with. We know who our pros are at moving cars and that type of thing, so.
Okay. And then, when you're looking for volunteers, how far away can they be? Can anybody in the county, or is it
It is-
just a certain
It's
radius?
advertised countywide. We would probably sneak in a few that are along the county borders. Because we see it too, and that's when we first started with the Wilmer Police Department, and they included emergency management during those planning phases. We changed it from Wilmer CERT to Wilmer Area CERT, because if there's a disaster, we know that the people from outside Wilmer are gonna have to come help the Wilmer people, and vice versa. And it showed in the Raymond incident, having people that live in Princeburg there that, the CERT member had the keys for the school. They had the superintendent's number on speed dial. It was easy getting a hold of, it just makes things work smoother, because as the disaster happens, we can get those people closer. We can also, if they're affected, we can get people from the other part of the county that can come help them.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Commissioner Emdek?
Thank you. You talked about the staffing. Are any of these full-time positions?
There are 3 full-time positions allotted for emergency management.
Okay.
Mine, the deputy director, and then John, the specialist. So we're looking to fill a position right now. All the other ones that we're talking about are volunteer positions. The rescue squad, those 21 people are paid volunteers, so they do get paid for per hour for the calls that they're on, so.
And is there somebody at the center all the time? Not where you reside, but the one over by?
No. Nope, we have, for the rescue squad, I think there are 4 city staff that all are pretty close and they can respond within minutes. To the building one works at a business just adjacent, he's there within probably less than a minute, getting garage doors up and gear on and.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else? Well, thank you for the update, and thank you for all that work, and hope that you find another group of volunteers for the next class, and thank you so much.
Thanks for the opportunity.
At this time, then, we will have Environmental Services Director Gary Gear update us with bring us the recycling contract bids. Gary, good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Gary Gear, Environmental Services Director, here before you this morning with the proposed recycling contract bids. Scope of work was drafted, generated, and put out there, and the bids that we received, you can see are in your packet. 2 bids, and for 2 different levels of service. The city bid 1 was cities biweekly, rural every 4 weeks, and bid 2 was countywide biweekly. And you can see those totals before you. And with that, staff would be recommending awarding bid number 2. And just for reference sake too, for the board, the current contract, and then these 2 bids are from West Central Sanitation, and Don and Taylor are here this morning, but the first 5-year window and contract has, from my perspective, at least seeing things on our side, has really run seamlessly in large part because of their ability to meet the demand of the routes and the number of carts out there. So it has gone well for us. And again, staff is recommending approval of bid number 2 here this morning.
And help me out here. So we have the one, number 1 here, and that's status quo, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And staff is recommending bid 2, which is for enhanced pickup?
No, staff is recommending bid 1 to
Okay,
maintain.
this is why I'm asking, because they're labeled bid 1 and 2.
Yep, and bid 1 is what staff is recommending to
Okay.
to maintain.
I thought I heard you say you were recommending 2.
Did I?
Right, go ahead.
Bite my tongue.
I'm just wanting to make sure.
I apologize if I misspoke. Bid 1.
I might not see, but I can hear a little bit, so. All right, Commissioner Dwayne Anderson.
Yeah, so I have a question. Down my way, I get a lot of complaints because, the recycling containers blow away, because there's not much shoulder on the township roads. Did you ever look into or ask about how much it would cost, like, just to do, like, where you'd have recycling containers in town, in the local towns, and just do it that way, or?
I did. That historically is what we had offered, basically for 30 years, we had all of the rural area and all of the rural cities, it was drop site collection only. And it was Wilmer and Atwater that had curbside collection. In 2020, curbside collection was single sort, was the desired direction or path to go. And therefore, that's where we landed. Certainly, the carts, I know, wind in the rural areas, whether it's a narrow shoulder on Township Road or simply the wind and the volume, there's limited weight in the amount of recyclables in the carts, so the wind is tough on them. Certainly folks have come up with ways to maintain their cart a little heavier, whether it's something on the lid that can be added because the driver's not getting it out, of course, when they come and pick up and service the carts. But when the robotic arm moves out or hydraulic arm moves out and grabs the cart, they can make one move, drop whatever's on top of the cart, and then empty it. So that's been a significant help to a lot of folks that were having trouble with the wind. We did have a bid for maintaining the curbside collection in the cities and establishing 7 remote drop sites in communities. That would be taking away everybody's cart that is in the rural area, and then those folks would have to find a way to get it to a drop site. There's management issues with drop sites too. There's just a lot of materials that end up there that are not recyclable. So there's positive and negatives to going that direction as well.
Commissioner Berg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple questions. Some of the recycling that's taken to the cities, we get a small percentage back based on how much we do. And I have a couple questions. Do you have a rough guesstimate about how much that money does come back, if any? And also, how we're doing as a volume of recycling compared to previous year?
Volume has really maintained the same from when we were operating in our own facility through multi-sort and through single-sort collection cart at every house. We're approximately 2,500 to 2,800 tons per year is kind of what we were averaging for years before, and now currently under this first 5-year window, this contract. The amount that we get back is it varies on the market. Sure. And we have in a year, I think our biggest positive was like 67,000 back to us, and approximately 80,000, I believe, to the negative is also what we have paid out when the markets were that bad. So the markets continue to fluctuate, and we really have limited control over anything with that. But in trying to promote the best recycling program, the most difficult thing kind of is there's such limited volume available in the recycling residential program, where there's just, every individual home, they're just not gonna buy more milk jugs, to be able to say that you recycled more. And if that was the case, there's such limited tonnage to it. For example, our 2,500 to 2,800 tons per year that we're averaging is 6%. If all of our recyclables went in our landfill, that'd be approximately 6% of our annual volume. It's really minimal. So,
But it's not nothing.
but it's not nothing. It's the right thing to do. We want to encourage it. We want to promote it. We want to be thoughtful, or the board, I think, wants to be thoughtful in how we move forward.
Thank you. Commissioner Dale Anderson.
Just a little bit of a question on the pricing of the bids, and maybe you don't have this information, but, I mean, they basically went a little over double on the containers for the carts, and $300,000 for the annual cost. So why did they go double on the carts? We already have the carts out there, so I'm just a little confused why that cart price went up so much.
Well-
Just for the rural side, not for the city side, but.
I believe, and I would maybe even defer, but I believe it would be simply on the extra miles. It's not the cart, it's a price, it's a price per cart service.
Service.
But it's miles, and for example, the rural routes, I have it down here, are almost 2,200 miles, and the city routes are 675.
Sure.
So it's miles, I believe, is the difference.
Nope, just wondering.
Commissioner Imdak.
Thank you, appreciate that. I've got a number of questions. You want me to just keep asking them, or do you want me to?
Go for it.
Okay. When is the contract renewal date?
Well,
This
this contract
this-
ends December 31st of this year,
So the first of the year?
correct?
Okay. So if we didn't make a decision today, it's not like we're gonna have a lapse.
Correct, but if we were talking significant changes, we would want to be acting relatively quickly, because there'd be, I'm not sure, but just like cart pickup or delivery or differences. Generating different routes is a pretty significant step for the
Sure.
contractors.
Sure. And you already answered a couple of the questions I had about the tonnage, the trend. From what I'm understanding, 2,750 sort of captures the tonnage.
Correct.
So on those 2,750 tons, we wouldn't be collecting the tipping fee, would we?
Correct.
Obviously, of what, 65?
Yes.
Or what did we
Yep.
just approve? Okay. And the trend seems to be pretty static, did I hear you say?
Yes.
From going back even like 30 years ago?
Yep.
The reimbursement rate, that goes up and down with that. Did you ask for a bid on every 3 weeks for everybody, or every 4 weeks for everybody?
Did not. Every 2-week service in cities is, with a 65-gallon cart, is considered standard service. And we're offering a 95-gallon cart. So, and I think that was our attempt to try and make it work for people in the rural as well, with the bigger cart, a third again bigger than what is standard, even though we're based on the miles aren't, it's hard to make that pencil out. So I didn't look at 4-week countywide. I think in part because of the greater population that we have that we're servicing with a standard of every 2-week service. Every 3-week as well gives, I think, in visiting with not only West Central Sanitation, but others in the industry too, it's an odd number, and it just would give difficulty to the public. Every 3 weeks, people would really struggle to remember when their service date is. And our greater population right now gets MSW service and recycling service on the same day. That would go away too. So this would be one more day, one more thing, and then rotating besides. That would, I think, give some difficulty to make 3-week service work.
So, are all of the cities, Atwater, New London, Spicer, Regal, Sunburg, are they all every 2-week pickups?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm kind of confused why, is it a different size barrel in town than it is in the country? So
Same.
it would seem like a family of 4 inside the city limits would produce pretty much the exact same amount of, on average, recycling as someone just outside the city limits. So I'm confused as to why we continue to do every 2 weeks. And I don't know if this is linear, but if we took that annual cost of the city at 38,000 and cut that, or that's per, every 2 weeks, right? And cut that in half, is that a linear cost? So would we cut that $464,000 in half? I think that's why,
I think that would be, that would likely be close to in half, but there would probably be some business costs that I'm not thinking of that they would still leave incorporated in that. But simply the difference is, for me, is just the cost. If we're looking at staying with our current level of service or trying to go offer more, and to not reduce a level of service. Reducing a level of service is also a step backwards.
but it would be the same level of service that people outside the city limits get, right?
Correct.
If you cut it in half. So my back of the envelope math says somewhere in the neighborhood of $232,000 savings at a time when we're struggling to keep our levy down to property owners. I'm having a hard time with that. That's a lot of money. That's 0.5% of our levy. So we could reduce, if everybody was at 4 weeks, we'd reduce our annual cost by, right now, it's costing us on the first option there, just over $1 million. We'll call it $1 million a year. Then when you take the tipping fees that we don't collect on that, that adds about another $200,000. We're paying a lot of money for recycling that hasn't improved any since we've done the curbside pickup.
Yeah.
And then, so are we collecting, are we providing services for apartments?
Up to 4 units. So quads. So if you have a 4-plex, we provide that service. Over that, we do not.
Okay, and so most of the growth in housing units in the past 5 years, maybe almost 10 years, has been apartment units, typically 50 units to an apartment. And so we're not capturing that recycling?
I believe we are not in our numbers. I believe they're being provided service through commercial contracts, landlord, property owner.
Recycling.
Yes, recycling
So
contracts.
similar to what at Three Sisters, we pay $57 a month for the privilege of recycling.
Okay.
So it would seem to me that would be almost make more sense to reduce those 4 weeks, every 2 weeks in the cities to every 4 weeks, and then offer, with the savings, offer to those multi-unit dwellings where you can only have to go once to pick up, say, a 2-yard container and pick up the recycling, rather than charge them for it and disincentivize them for recycling. I mean, it is cheaper to do the recycling than it is to do the solid waste at our business, but it just seems sort of odd that we're not providing it for the fastest growing housing units in the area. And if we're not going to, we should look at an option of everybody every 4 weeks and save nearly $250,000.
And I think with, across the state and across the nation, the standard city pickup, 65-gallon carts, 2/3 their size, and 2-week service being the standard level of service, I think we would be, if we go to 4-week service in our cities, and I think it's what people have become accustomed to, they're not collapsing and breaking down their recyclables as much. Their carts aren't full every 2 weeks, but they're also not collapsing anything. So it really gets to be an educational thing as to how we could possibly accomplish that. The volume could work. I understand in my mind too that it would be, hey, well, 4-week works in the rural, we can make 4-week work in the cities. But we've been offering 2 weeks, and that's something for the board to discuss.
So again, I think I heard you say that the barrels that the city has are the same size as the barrels that people outside, okay. So if it works for 4 weeks for the people outside the city limits, yes, it would be a little bit of a learning curve where you have to learn to break down cardboard to get it in there. And occasionally there'd be times where it might not all fit in there. I talked to, just last week, I asked somebody who lives in the city, they have 3 children. He said, we generally put ours out every other pickup because we don't need to every 2 weeks.
And there are folks that is true for.
I would like to see us revisit this with a bid for where we go to every 4 weeks for everybody. So we have that option to consider.
Commissioner Dale Anderson.
I'm really undecided on this because I've had some phone calls and I've had some emails on this also. And what you just said, I guess, kind of caught me. So it's okay that the people in the cities don't have to jump up and down on their cart to get the recycling in, but everybody in the country does, because that's really what we do. We break everything down, we crush everything flat, and we pack it down in there to get it, to make it that month. And I guess I really struggle with it. I understand the miles and I understand all that part, but then give them half the size cart and cut that cost. I just think that everybody's taxes are the same. That's the letters that I get and the grind that I get from the people in my area is that we all pay the same taxes, and that's where the argument gets to be. So I really struggle with this. I would kind of like to see how much of the savings there is. Maybe there's other costs that we have to have them rebid this. But I would like to see, I guess, what it would be for a bid for every 4 weeks for everybody. If this is a 5-year contract, if it was a 1-year deal, maybe I wouldn't be so concerned. But once we're locked into this contract, we're locked into it. So I think we need to really look at this deep and see if there is options to make it better or not. I know you put a lot of work in it, Gary. I already understand that. I'm not trying to downgrade that, but it's probably one of the things that I do hear a lot of complaining about is the imbalance between the city and the country. So that's my concern right now.
Commissioner Berg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, first off, I really want to look backwards a little bit too and thank West Central Sanitation for stepping up. I remember being on the board when we did our own recycling as well as a couple other commissioners here as well. And we did not know what to do since COVID hit and all the other issues. I won't even get into that. But the community was very, very concerned and appreciate that the services we have are good. And I personally feel that we're kind of in a sweet spot. You know, it's hard to find the exact spot. And when it comes to recycling, everybody loves recycling and have an opinion on recycling too. And that's where the sweet spot kind of comes in. And I am comfortable where we're at looking at option number 1. I do have some concerns, and a couple of just things just throw out there for discussion, but I I am comfortable where we're going right with this with number one. But my two concerns would be that a long contract like this, and this is not the only one, I think often we do long contracts if we can. That's really nice to do. You know, it's good for everybody and that we can move forward with that. But we all know we do have some budget issues coming up and with the state and the federal government, not knowing what's going to happen this next year and possibly the next year after that. And if we get, you know, in some long-term contracts, I'm just kind of wondering if, you know, that we write some possibilities that we can re-examine those somewhere down the road. And I'm not saying we correct this, I haven't seen the details of this contract at this point to correct that, but some down the road anyways, we look at more contracts and not just this contract, but as we move forward with our contracts, that we do have a way to write in them that we can re-examine the cost based on our budget going forward, because we could take a major hit, and that's what we're trying to do. And option two would be almost a 1% increase in our levy, and I think everybody's not really onto that one at this point. So I'm okay with going this direction, and the other question I was going to say, maybe have even more updates. I know we got a lot of meetings, and Mr. Gear, you got so much going on too, but to have these kind of discussions ahead of time too, instead of bringing in an action item, and this is what the options we have, that we have a recycling committee or something like that. I'm just brainstorming going forward, but looking at other ways to have this communication before we get to this point to make a decision all of a sudden on a couple bids we have. So it's just some ideas.
Are you volunteering for a new committee?
No.
Just
Or-
checking.
Just an idea, but no, well, I guess when the time comes up, we'd have to see, wouldn't we? Yes.
Commissioner Imdak.
Thank you. And I wouldn't be able to support either one of these today without more information. I agree with both of the commissioners. One is, it's frustrating to get something for the first time and then we have to act on it, especially if we've got a couple months to go yet where we could gather some more information. Commissioner Dale Anderson's suggestion, unfortunately, I think getting a newer barrel is not going to be a good answer because it's going to be a cost. And then you've got but cutting from every 2 weeks to every 4 weeks is a clear savings. And when we certified the preliminary budget, we indicated a desire to not certify it at the preliminary level, but to try to get it down. And this is one way to take some of the burden off the taxpayers. Mr. Chair, I would move that we postpone this decision till the second meeting in November. And in the meantime, get some additional information, including the contract.
We have a motion. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it just for discussion.
Thank you. Then discussion.
So, Mr. Chair, the reason I make that motion is that we can get more information, including what it would cost to go to every 4 weeks in the city versus every 2 weeks. And as long as we're at it, every 3 weeks for everybody. We can always dismiss it. But I don't think it's fair based on what we're seeing here, to make a decision today when there's an opportunity to save what appears to be over $250,000. And again, it may not be linear, by cutting the city pickups in half doesn't mean we cut the expense in half. But again, that it may be. I want to see the options.
If I may.
You may.
I feel like this mic isn't on. It's a change. I think when we go back to and we can get those bids and look at more information and options, but just to remind the commissioners that this did pass the first time in this level of service. And so I guess in my point of view, when we talk about services, when we change that level of services in any department, whether it's plowing roads, whether it's how we look at providing human services and child protection services, when we start at a certain level of providing services, and granted, this was passed at a 3-2 vote, the first time this contract was approved, that's that standard. And so I think that's where Gary and I were coming in at with that standard. Now, we could go back to a lesser standard and cut that closely in half and go back to what we maybe just have drop sites around the county and rural sites bring it in. That will be the cheapest route. That would be the cheapest thing for us to do. And so that is we could come with that, but then that's not providing that level of service. And I think when we look at state, federal budgetary cuts that we're gonna have to be making, providing that same level of service in all aspects also relates to this. And so I think we can do that. The second board meeting in November, I think, is a little touchy. I think depending on how we work with getting bids and things like that and timing and rollout of the contract, I'd have to work with Gary, but I could coordinate that with the board chair and how we could bring this back at another meeting.
I'm gonna,
Just one small question.
Dwayne, go ahead. You haven't weighed in on this.
Okay, so if we go back to ask for another bid or different ones, we gotta open the whole thing up again, right? Or,
Well, I would just make a request with the contractor, so it's
you
not.
have to give
it's
it
not-
open to other
No,
contractors,
it's not
don't you?
it's
Or,
not, this isn't a public bid
Okay.
procedure, so no.
okay.
And I would just like to add too, or maybe to follow the motion, just maybe not include a date, and make it as timely as possible, because I think getting into November is difficult for, making possible changes.
I'm gonna ask Don to come up. I think there's something you want to address, and I wanted to ask about the logistical side of this as well.
Taylor, maybe. Too. Thank you, Mr. Chair and Board. Thank you, Gary. Just want to address a couple things, not to give you an answer because we haven't calculated that, but to Commissioner Imdike's question on a linear cut, it would not be because you have the same amount of equipment. It would be less to reduce services in the cities to every 4 weeks. That's correct. It would not be linear because any contractor that does it will still have to have the same equipment on board to provide that. There'd be less miles driven, which is where you would achieve some savings. The amount of product getting transported to Shakopee to DEMCON will not lessen, hopefully. It might lessen some because you have a little less frequency. We don't know what that is because you haven't done it yet. But that cost is still equivalent. I wanted to address that. The other thing is, Mr. Gear is correct, and it's true that we're in 20-some counties that we're allowed to operate, and we do county contracts in, I think, 4 counties that we provide the same service, and it is every other week in the cities, and in all those other counties, there is no rural service. I'm correct in that, aren't I, Taylor? This county is exceptional in that it did provide every 4-week service, so that was quite a level of service that's not seen in the state in many places, maybe only a couple other counties. So you are exceptional in the level of service you give to outside the cities, and that's commendable, but if there's a cost to it. The other thing that Mr. Gear stated that is true, that is the challenge with costs, is actually the county residents are receiving more dollars of value of service, the outside of the city, than the city residents are. And it's strictly because of the miles and the resources that it takes to provide that level of service. 22,000 and some miles to provide that rural service, and only 600 miles to provide all the city service. So you can see that's what's driving the cost, no matter who would provide that service. And so I just wanted to help clarify some of those comments, because I know those are questions that you're asking, and I apologize if I, okay.
And I think I heard it said somewhere along the line here that basically you're able to do what you do in the cities because you're already running these routes, correct?
Well,
You're doing the pickups of the recycling on same days every other week.
that was, excuse me, Mr. Chair, to answer your question, it was one of the requirements of the bid, which is a wise one, to whenever possible, pair your recycling pickup days with your trash pickup days. That was a requirement that we always tried to work with the county going back 30 years. In fact, we've done that for over 30 years in the county. When West Central Industries was providing that service, or the corrections unit was providing that, we've always done that because it helps people remember to put both things out on the same day. That's not always possible in the outside, of course it's not, because a lot of rural customers don't have trash service, so there's not that to do. And the other thing, when you start to change the days from like once every other week to every 3, now our whole route structure has to be totally looked at to bring the most efficiency to give you the best price. And when we do that, we probably would not be able to achieve same-day recycling trash pickup in the cities. I'm not saying we couldn't, but it makes it harder to do it on an efficient basis because you're using the resources over a time period. I know that sounds odd, but when you start routing trucks, it gets to be quite a diagram, so.
You want,
Yes, please.
you're asking to be okay.
Yeah.
Just, I
thank-
thought maybe you were pointed.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Commissioner
I
Burke.
got to put my finger over here so you can see it better. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to restate what I stated before to some degree of, this is a sweet spot where we're at, and the public really wants this service that we have right now, and they're satisfied with the service we have to a large degree, not the rural area, I understand that, but we've been operating this way, and I don't think the public is ready for a major change like this, and this is a major change, and from a financial point of view, we're not at that point to make this kind of cut that I feel that this would have the impact on at this point. So I still support bid number 1 at this point going forward.
Mr. Chair, point of order, we do have a motion on the floor.
Sure.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to respond to two things that were said. Number one, this should not be about making sure we spend the same amount of money in the city as we do. It should be about effectiveness of recycling.
Yep.
And the fact that our recycling has not changed appreciably since before we started this program means that extra cost isn't all that effective. And because we produce the same amount of recycling in the country as we do in the city, there shouldn't be any appreciable diminishment of recycling. And to the business person, Mr. Williamson's recognition, I said this in the beginning, that it's probably not a linear effect. And the other thing is that just because this is what we've always done, doesn't mean it's what we should always do. That was a 5-year contract, so once we signed it, we never got a chance to reevaluate it to see whether or not it's making a very big difference. And now we have that opportunity. And I think the opportunity here is to save the taxpayers some dollars by getting a bid on every 4-week pickup for everybody. So that's where I'm at.
We have a motion and a second, and would you restate your motion, just?
My motion was to postpone this decision till the second meeting in November and request staff to provide bids on everybody at every 4 weeks and everybody at every 3 weeks.
And that's the motion you understood. During the discussion, I did hear some question about, from Mr. Gear about that's maybe, a ways out. It might be potentially problematic to move it out that far. Are you open to, how long would it take us to get that information?
Well, I would be working with the contractors immediately and trying to gather that information. I just thought we could leave it as an open date so that we could bring it back as soon as possible.
So, to that point, Mr. Chair, by going to the second meeting in November, gives them ample time to come up with that. If they want to do it at the last meeting in December, I'm fine with that as well.
No, I think what they're asking is to maybe be able to provide that quicker. Is that how I understood
I'm
you?
trying to get here in 2 weeks, yes, because we need, if we're to go to every 3-week service countywide, that upsets the apple cart to what they need to do. And they need to make it happen on January 1, so we can't,
Well, if you,
I wanna try and get it as soon as possible.
Mr. Chair, if they can get the information to us for our next board meeting, I'm perfectly fine with that. I thought they'd probably need more time to do that.
And we can,
So will you be open to amending your motion?
I would
to
amend
just
the motion
strike
to
date?
strike the date and, from the postponing from the second meeting in November to, as soon as they can get the information to us.
sounds real good.
Are you okay with that? As a seconder?
Oh, yeah, yes, I have to, since I supported the motion for discussion, I'm okay for discussion. I'm not sure I agree with it or not.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to send this back for further discussion / clarification under the parameters that Commissioner Embeck described. Are we ready to vote? All those in favor of the motion to postpone this to a future meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I,
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, and we hope to see you
back.
here in 2 weeks, or 4 for sure.
Sounds good. Thank you
Thanks,
all.
Gary.
Thank you very
oh,
much.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just wish to make a comment. I just want to be really clear that this is a discussion about recycling and nothing about the service that we receive from Western Sanitation. And I also want to comment about your service over the years here in our county, that I notice all the time that you're supporting so many other organizations in it, and we appreciate what you're doing, so. Nothing.
All right, we will take a 5-minute recess.
Okay.
Commissioners is back in session at this time. We will hear from Human Resources Director Katie Zemer regarding, and this is an update. It's shown as an action item, but it is actually an update. Oh,
No, it's landfill first.
Landfill first.
This one on Kelsey right there, request for proposals for
Oh.
update.
okay, my bad. Go right ahead.
But you are correct that the next one will just be an update as well.
I thought I was on the ball.
Close though.
Kelsey Baker, Candioi County Administrator. Before you today, I'm providing an update regarding the request for proposals for the newly purchased landfill property. As you can see in your board packet, we had one organization submit a proposal for the landfill property. It was Tepetonka Hospitality LLC. Today, like I said, is just purely an update, so you could see what was within the RFP. We will come back before the board with a contract. The board will approve. I'll work with Gary Gear and the county attorney on creating that agreement, and so that agreement will come back to the board for county approval. But before you today is just, if you have any questions regarding the scope of use. So as you can see in the scope of use, there was around 12 items that they would be using: staff housing, snowmobiling, hiking, hunting, horseback riding, gardens, clay
Mr.
course.
Yeah, hang on, just,
Where's that information?
Oh, is that not,
Nope.
okay,
we have nothing in
That's
our
okay.
packet.
sorry about that. I thought that was in there. That's okay. I will provide you all a copy then. Yes, I'm sorry about that. It goes over the full RFP and it lists out the scope of use and items and things like that within the map and things like that. So I'll just read through it then. Staff housing, lodging for members and guests, club events, youth participation in outdoor activities, hiking, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, hunting, clay course, game preserve, archery, horseback riding, and gardens. And so within this proposal, they would work with a management company. And so Tepetonka would be the sole provider, but they would work with a management company to oversee day-to-day operations. This management company they've worked with in the past, and so we feel comfortable with that. I will provide this information to the board today. I'll send this out. But within this proposal, they did meet the requirements that were submitted. It would be a 5-year term renewal, 5-year renewal as well. They would agree to pay all associated operating expenses, repairs, and maintenance. They would agree upon current repairs or replacements contained within each party's property inspection reports. They would work with the county on all of that as well. They would inform us of any potential hazard and have the right to cancel at any time, provide the issue if it were to be hazardous. With their approval to lease the execution and thereafter, they would submit any substantive improvements to the property. Have rights and use documented within if there were to be an ordinance, and they would pay $25,000 per quarter in advance as total compensation to Candioi County for the term of the lease and renewals thereafter. And so my apologies, I thought this was in the packet, I must have just missed that. So I will include this and send this out this afternoon as well with the media. I will get that out there this afternoon, but that was a really high-level overview then of what was in the proposal. Like I said, those 12 items that they would be utilizing the property were listed under the scope of use. Then they list under the 8 proposal items as well that it included the 5-year term lease, the pay, current repairs and maintenance, those sorts of things. And so very well thought out proposal. We feel that it would be a good decision for the county to work through a contract with this company and bring back to board for final approval. That was something that I was hoping to bring back at the 21st or the first meeting in November, depending on County Attorney Shane Baker's schedule on drafting the agreement. But I can always push that to the second meeting if you need me to come back and provide another update, granted you have the information.
Commissioner Berg and then Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to comment at a high level as well. That just generally from what I've heard, that it sounds like a very positive step forward and a
Yep.
potential good fit and a good chance for the county to bring in some revenue that of some significance. Thank you.
Yes.
Commissioner Dale Anderson.
Kelsey, would it start on January 1? I guess that was my only question. Or that was what you were hoping to have it start right at the beginning of the year, or?
I think so. That would be something we'd have to sit down and talk to them on a start date. I don't believe we really talked, whenever,
That they would be acceptable.
yes.
Just one point,
Oh,
maybe,
yep.
maybe just one point on the date that Kelsey mentioned to bring a contract back to the board.
Will you come up to the mic, Gary? Thanks.
I'm sorry, Gary here again, Environmental Services Director. Just one comment on coming back with a contract date. A couple of the uses within what they're proposing would need to be conditional use permit approved first. So we would need to do a conditional use permit in November, lease contract agreement probably in December then for a January 1 start is what would be a goal of mine.
Those are some timing
Yes.
issues, yeah. But I think to keep the board in the loop, we could easily come back at the second or first meeting in November.
Yes.
Once I wanted this initial meeting to get done, and I incredibly apologize. I thought that was in there. And so Melissa's making you all copies, so you'll have that today. But yes, working through some of those details with the proposer, working with Gary, if there does need to be a conditional use permit, we need to work out some of those details. But we will keep the board in the loop on providing information and updates, and then bring back the contract and agreement for final approval.
Commissioner Imdak.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I'm sure the proposal will spell out who's responsible for what cost, but I understand that the one structure, I think the house, needed a lot of updating. Have we spent any money on any updating, or would that be the responsibility of the leaseor?
We have spent some money on the home, just through our home inspection report. The most significant dollars were on there's a balcony, a patio balcony, not a patio, flat roof, rubber roofed balcony overlooking the second story on the lake side of the home that was in need of repair. So that we have worked on, and there's a number of smaller, that's that work, and then work on the cabin structure as well. There was roof repair work that we've had completed there too. And staff have completed other more regular maintenance type of items that have been kind of let go too. So, but roof repair on the cabin, roof repair on the home are the two things that we've worked on.
And did we redo the road and also put in a new septic? Or did the seller provide that?
The seller provided monies for the septic system to be replaced. Design has been submitted and hoping to be installed in the next couple of weeks, but that's being covered by the seller. And we did also just have the driveway seal coated.
We don't need two septics out there, because there is a cabin and there's the house, and then I think the barn even has, doesn't the barn have plumbing in it?
It
does.
does, and that sizing for the bathroom in the barn is incorporated into the house septic system.
So they're close enough, we can do
They're
it.
close enough, they're together. There is a separate septic system for the cabin, that passed inspection, and that's in good standing, so.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say that Gary did take me out on a tour of the property. And the repairs that have been done have been necessary maintenance, and especially as we're going into winter, that type of thing. And what I think I'm hearing out of this proposal here is that any further updates that the proposer may want are going to be at the proposer's expense. I assume that they have to have them approved by the county as, okay, yes, you may go ahead and do this to our property.
Correct.
Okay.
And anything you know, they would be permitting through the Environmental Services Office for any of that type of work, and they would be responsible for the costs associated with those.
Okay,
And in conversations with Tepetonka, Gary and I have had, they've been very willing to put in the money if they want some repairs or maintenance or improvements made to the property. And so we'll continue working on that. We'll notify them today. We can maybe start on the ordinance and things like that.
And one more question.
Go
On
ahead.
the repairs we made, did the seller also leave an allocation for those kind of repairs, like that roof you talked about? And
Did not.
anyone else? All right, so this is for information, and we'll see this back fairly shortly, I hope.
Yes, again, thank you, Gary. Again, apologize that this wasn't in your board packet, but Melissa got you all copies today, so we don't have to email that out. So thank you, Melissa.
All right, so then that brings us to the end of that topic, yes?
Yes.
Okay. And then the next item is the 2025 health insurance.
Correct.
Okay.
Again, Kelsey Baker, Candioi County Administrator. These were not included in your board packet. Our Human Resources Director, Katie Zemer, did not really, she did not get these until late last night, clarifying some numbers, making sure these numbers are corrected, so you do have a handout sitting before you regarding the 2026 health insurance rates, not 2025. But as you know, we transitioned to Blue Cross Blue Shield in 2024. We switched brokers here. And so this reflects the recent claims experience. What you see before you today would be the 2026 rates. Originally, this was an approval ask, an action item. This does not need to be an action item. And so this is just more for your information on what our rates will be. We have open enrollment starting October 27th through November 7th. So these rates will be the rates that will be emailed out to employees with the open enrollment information. Given the current loss ratio and emerging risk, our broker recommends accepting this Blue Cross Blue Shield renewal. And so these are the rates that would go into effect starting January 1, 2026. And so this is for your information, Katie, and staff will be working on the rollout for open enrollment. And so we will be working with staff on doing that.
Commissioner Rimbeck.
And it's impossible to know at this point how many employees will take which plan, but based on like last year, and I assume that, so there's been a lot in the news lately about the increased costs of insurance all over. Is this the latest rates that we're talking about here?
Yep.
And have we calculated based on last year, on how our employees chose last year?
No.
What the cost of the county was? We haven't done that?
No.
Or will be, I should say.
We have done that, but this is based off the 14.9 split. So it's split 50% to the employer, 50% to the employee. So these are those calculations.
But we don't know,
If more people will take the plan?
or we don't, that didn't include the latest increases, did it? Or did it?
Oh, is that what?
Yeah, I'm
is that
wondering
what you're
if,
talking
I'm
about?
wondering if we budgeted enough in insurance in
Yes.
our 26 budget
Yes.
to accommodate.
Sorry, I wasn't following. Yes, we always typically do, and sometimes we honestly over budget, so then we reduce that when it comes down to the levy. Yep. Yes, so this is already included. Yes, thank you, Lisa, for that clarification. This is already included in the 2026 levy.
And this shouldn't be news to us because we knew when we went with this contract that first year was going to be at the same rate level.
Correct.
Previous, and we knew it was going to be this percentage.
Correct, when we-
Coming up for year two.
Yep.
And that's why we only did 2 years, though.
Correct, yep, in 2024, we went to the 2-year rate cap with Blue Cross Blue Shield at that 14.9%, and so this is year 2 of that. And so then we switched insurance brokers, and so then when we get out of this 2-year term, we'll probably go back out to market to see what our rates will be. And as you all know, health insurance rates are high, and so one of the big drivers, and Katie probably gets irritated when I keep talking about it, and Lisa probably did too, is we need to educate our staff on what our health insurance means and adding belly buttons. So when the board approved that health insurance reset, we added belly buttons to our plan. That helps our overall rates. And so when we educate our employees on what it means to be proactive and going in for preventative care, that helps our overall rates and can help our premiums then. We have really good health insurance, very good health insurance. Our premiums, we're still working on that. And so I think we're still comfortable with these premiums, the staff. And so we'll work through this in January and we'll continue looking into this a little bit more on how we can improve. But as you all know, health insurance is a tough world right now. And so we're just doing our best.
Mr. Chair, I would move on.
I've got Commissioner Anderson first, if I may.
I was gonna do the same thing, so
We don't need approval.
I'll move to accept the health insurance quotes.
I'll second.
Okay.
So this is an action item, okay.
Yes, it doesn't need to be an action item. No. So it's not an action item. I thought I clarified that at the beginning. This doesn't need to be an action item. This was year 2 of our Blue Cross Blue
okay.
Shield.
No, that's fine
I
then.
initially put this in as action item, so that
that's
was
fine.
my fault there.
Then I'll
This is
withdraw
more,
my second.
yeah, so ignore that. These are just the rates. So like I said, Katie and her team will work on sending this out for staff. Open enrollment, like I said, one more time is October 27th through November 7th.
I'm going to get Commissioner Berg first because he's been doing everything but sticking his finger in my ear.
I had to get it over here so you can see it.
And then we'll go to Commissioner Dwayne Anderson. We're going to have a lot of fun with this thing before I get it off.
Well, it's a good attitude to have fun with it, I guess. It's unfortunate you have to
Go
have
ahead
that.
wherever you are.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Question, what % increase is this compared to the last contract?
We were rate capped at 14.9, so then it's split 50-50 with the employee. Employer split 50-50 per
There's
contracts.
a 14% increase that we're splitting.
Overall.
Overall.
Overall,
And it's in
yep.
the budget, so it's really good news too.
Correct. Yep.
Thank you.
That was my question, so,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
thank you.
Yep.
Well, good. As long as nobody assaults me trying to get my attention, I guess it'll be worth it.
Okay.
All right, Kelsey, thank you so much. At this time, we'll call upon Public Works Director Mel Odens. Bid award for the county state-aid Highway 55 overpass.
That's
This
right,
has been
Mr.
a while
Chair.
coming.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, members of the board, Mel Odens, Public Works Director, County Engineer. Before you is a consideration of award for the County Road 55 Bridge Overpass. Just to take you back just quickly, this is a federal project. There's been a little bit of discussion with the government shutdown. We're in day 7. I did get clarification from the FRA yesterday, and their specific words was there'll be no impact and federal grant reimbursement will continue. So we feel confident. Yesterday morning, the administrator and a few of us were on a conference call with Washington and our lobbyist, and that was one of the things that we did talk about, and I did get clarification yesterday from Washington that it will, there is no concern about the money coming through on the federal grant. So that's a good thing. The project is the very south end of the Wilmer Y. It's the final little project finally to connect what the intent of the Wilmer Y was. And if you recall, the intent of the Wilmer Y was, first of all, provide safety by bringing a bridge over 2 railroad tracks. The bypass of the 1,100 and some trains that go by on the west side of Wilmer every year, we will now go over those trains with this bridge. The second thing is it does provide a good westerly bypass. So anybody coming in on 40, coming in on 12 can literally bypass and the node of the interregional corridor, which is Highway 23, will be able to jump on right at the interchange. So that's the second thing. The third thing that was important to the county almost 10 years ago when we started this project, which is kind of crazy, is good industrial park access. At that time, if you recall, we were just on the heels of moving the airport. We had just moved the waste treatment plant. We had just done shovel-ready acres in the industrial park, so that was good. We wanted good access. And then the last part probably would be, if you go out there today, it's confusing. And the goal was to eliminate the confusion. So that was kind of some key, like, anchor things we wanted to do when we did this project. So with all that being said, the securement of the money, we did open bids on September 30th. We had 2 bids. The low bid was 12% under our estimate. It's going to provide a 300-foot bridge and a little over a mile of grading to connect up to 40. And so it's my recommendation, Mr. Chair, to award the bid to the Mathewitz Construction Company out of Sleepy Eye, Minnesota, not Marshall, Minnesota, out of Sleepy Eye in the amount of $9,938,473.76.
You've heard the recommendation. Is there?
Yep, I'll make a motion that we award the bid as recommended.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second discussion. Mel, almost half of this is covered under the FRA grant, correct?
Right, we had 4.8 million of FRA grant. We got a 1.9 million in a state matching grant. And then this was a local option sales tax. And one thing that I do want to note is that Burlington Northern is providing a 5% match for the bridge as well.
Outstanding.
Yeah, so they've been a good partner in this.
All right. Commissioner Burke.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Assuming this may pass, to get to this point is pretty exciting. I mean, this is a big deal, one of our biggest votes, I think. And I also want to thank you for your leadership and the administrator and all the other staff and former people in Kansas County that have worked on this goal. And this has been a goal for a long time. We've heard you talk about it for a very long time. So maybe we won't be hearing you talking about this again. But it is very exciting, and your leadership got us here. And I'm just real excited about this. And my other question is it possible to put the map up for the public to see on the overhead?
Sure, I think. I shouldn't agree so quick. I think you're gonna have to need to do it.
Because I thought that was an excellent map to kind of show a little bit better what the intention was. And maybe you can kind of point out how that all's working, if you would, Mr. Odens.
I'm gonna do, yeah. Yeah, no, this is good. I was gonna, but I might.
Want me to do that?
Oh, no, that will, or do you want to do this so I can use my pen? Let's do that. So I can I'm a whiteboard guy.
There we go.
There we go. I'm just gonna quickly, if you could zoom in on this, because if I get one comment, it's, and I think I even heard it this morning, but this has been, there we go, a phased project for a good reason. But the confusion for the public is that all we do is work out there. But the reality of it is we didn't want to do work twice. And so that's why there's 3 phases. We did phase 1 originally where we did this road realignment. This road used to come down to here. Actually, it used to cross right here, but we wanted to get this built, and we just did a temporary connection here, but it made this confusing right here. This was super confusing. It still is. The phase 2 is MnDOT did the ramps right here, and that way we could, if we wouldn't have done this, they couldn't have done the ramps. Okay? And so we had to do this and leave this connected. They can do the ramps, and now we're here where we can get rid of this little road and put the bridge in. But if you, as you can see, the blue line, and the blue line never have changed. So that's done. We never had to redo it. So traffic was able to, when we put this bridge in right here, traffic was able to get into town, and we do this bridge here, they can get into town. So there's never like a detour again here. Now, I will say, when we do when we do this bridge here and we take out this road, we will detour up on 40. So there's 2 residents on this piece of road up here, but that's it. And quite honestly, they can go north and it's only, half a mile, I think at the most. But just for the sake of what we're doing is this is the hairpin turn we're removing. And then this is the bridge, and we will put some stakes out here for the public so you can kind of see where this is. I was talking to the Levi at the paper earlier about trying to get the best way for visual. This is maybe a well-traveled road for most residents, and so it just kind of is out there, And so this would give us a map of where it is for those interested.
Commissioner Dwayne Anderson.
Okay, so there will be a detour on this then?
Not this year, but when we remove this road
Okay.
next year, there'll have to be a detour at some point in time. And the detour would go, it would only be a detour for the 2 people that live on 55,
Yeah.
first of all. And then it would only be to 40.
So at first, so when you start the project, will there be a detour or?
No.
It'll just be like for shortest time possible?
So this fall, what we want to do is we want to surcharge this area right here and surcharge this area right here. That's all you're going to see this fall. This road will just be just like it is,
Okay.
all winter long. And then next spring, this has got to sit and surcharge for 6 months.
Okay.
So it's a long time. That's why it's paramount that we get this thing.
So there'll be a detour then starting like May or June? Roughly?
Hopefully even later than that.
Okay.
Now, there are some nuances, like we did take it to, well, it's just off the page here, that box culvert's gonna be replaced.
Okay.
So there's gonna be some interim closures, but yeah, as a general rule, the detour will be next summer.
Okay.
With the December of next year completion.
But I assume that culvert was already on the list to be done, or is that part of this as well?
That's part of the project, that box.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I'm assuming then number 5, the impact on that, as far as detours or anything, would be very, very small until you actually hooked up to it,
There
right?
won't be any detour for 5.
At all?
No.
None at all?
no,
Even when you
no,
hook up?
no,
Okay.
no.
So the public
That's-
still can come through there?
So when you.
I just wanna
I'm
be
gonna-
sure they're
I'm gonna
aware
go
of
back
that.
to this here.
Yep.
This is the 3rd and final phase. If you're gone, once again, it's the industrial park access to town. These ramps will never close. This 5 will never need to be closed. No.
All right, anyone else? Commissioner Imdet?
Thank you. This is pretty exciting. It seems like I was barely a commissioner when we first started. Well, actually, I was barely a commissioner when the Wilmer Y first got proposed. And initially, this was supposed to be part of the scope of the Wilmer Y, but in order to keep the cost down, I think was the reason.
No, well, the cost and the environmental documents.
Right, so they reduced the envelope of the project, so which eliminated this prospective bridge. And I'll make one slight correction, if I may. This isn't quite the last piece of the puzzle. There's the 2.5 miles of pavement that everybody's aware of that's also there. But if the picture was back up there and if you looked at those ramps, we've had a really great working relationship with MnDOT. I remember coming home from making a delivery of furniture south of Marshall and the bridge had just been completed over Highway 23. And as I drove through there on my way home, I'm thinking, this is so damn crazy that we've only got one ramp on this bridge. The very next day, I think, or 2 days later, former Administrator Kleindahl and Mel and I were in John Hughesby's office along with Susan Karnowski and maybe somebody else. And it wasn't very long after that, we had the ideas for the ramp was going. So there's a lot of progress been made out there. This is almost as exciting as closing the gaps for me, just because of the time involved. But we had our Highway 23 Coalition annual meeting last week, and Highway 23 Coalition has been very, very supportive of not only this project, but also those last 2.5 miles of pavement. That comes with a caveat, though, because And most of the people up and down that Highway 23 coalition recognize where most of the benefit will be for those 2.5 miles of pavement being completed if and when we get that job done.
Yep.
All right, anyone else? All right, then, so we need a motion to award the bid, yes?
I think
We have
we have it. Yeah, we have a motion in a second.
We have a motion and a second, thank you. Anybody else? All right, then on the motion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Mel, thank you. At this time, I think we'll move, because they're here now, let's recess the county board meeting, and we will move, reconvene as the Drainage Ditch Authority, and we'll come back to the other two items as the board after that. So
You got
we will-
Eagle, oh, okay.
so we will recess the county board meeting, and then we will convene as the Drainage Ditch Authority. And we're just having them come in momentarily here.
Thinking about- thinking-
Austin, step right up. Good morning.
Must have skipped ahead.
We did.
All right.
Go ahead and take whatever time you need to get set there.
Yeah, let's see this.
Thank you.
All right, we are convened as the Drainage Ditch Authority, so go right ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Drainage Authority members, Austin Hillbrandt, your Drainage Manager. I guess the first item would be, on the agenda would be to approve the meeting minutes from August 19th.
So move, Mr. Chair.
We have a motion to approve the August 19th Drainage Authority minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Dale Anderson seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. And then you are bringing to us a petition.
Yeah, next we received a petition from the Middle Fork of the Crow River Watershed District to modify the existing outlet structures for Green Lake and Lake Calhoun under Minnesota Statute 103E 227. The main purpose of the meeting today was to acknowledge that we received the petition and initiate proceedings under 103E 227. The project is referenced in the petition as Project 2024-14. The petition and plans can be found on page 50 in your packet. Maybe just pull that up for them. The petitioners state they want to modify the existing outlet structures to incorporate Rock Arch Rapids. A portion of this is in the channel of County Ditch 20. The petitioners do not seek any drainage system funds for the project. Project costs will be the responsibility of the petitioner, funded through the Minnesota Statute 103D funding sources and through an agreement with the state of Minnesota. The county attorney, county auditor, and I have determined the petition meets the requirements on Minnesota Statute 103E 227. After we receive a petition under 103E 227, the Drainage Authority must appoint an engineer to investigate the effects of the proposed installation and file a report on the findings. Once we receive the engineer's report, the county auditor will set a public hearing date where we'll ask the engineer and the petitioners to come and present the project to the Drainage Authority and the public. The petitioners contracted with Stantec engineers to design their project. They included me in all of the design meetings. Petitioners request that the Drainage Authority appoint Stantec as the engineer required by statute. My recommendation to the Drainage Authority is to appoint Stantec to investigate the effects of the proposed installation on County Ditch 20. Appointing Stantec is included in the draft findings and order receiving the petition and initiating proceedings. I can try to answer any questions about the project. We also have Josh Kavanaugh in the audience from the DNR. If there's any specific questions about the project as well. After that, I would seek a motion to adopt the findings and order, receiving the petition and initiating proceedings as drafted in your packet. The findings order can be found on page 102.
I'm going to have one question for you. I believe I saw an email from you that questioned whether or not the county was going to be taking any of this over, and that's not the case, correct?
Correct. Yep, on, it's number 8 in the petition, it's on page 50. We reached out to Rinky Noonan, and either way, with this wording, the petition still meets the requirements, but yes, with the final order at the public hearing, we would address that the state maintains control of the structures. The county attorney reached out to Rinky Noonan, who's representing the Middle Fork of the Crow River Watershed District. And yes, that was a mistake on their part. It's supposed to say the state of Minnesota. And he will get us a correction to the petition for the final meeting, so.
Outstanding. That's, I figured that might not fly otherwise. so.
Yep.
Any other questions for Austin?
No, but I think I heard that there might be 2 recommendations here. One is to adopt a petition. Was there,
The recommendation would be to adopt the findings and order receiving the petition, which includes appointing Stantec as the engineer and authorizing the county auditor to set a public hearing date.
so just one recommendation?
Right,
And I would move on that.
perfect.
All right, so, and you're moving based upon the recommended motion here. Would
Yes.
you just read through that quick, just for the record?
The recommended motion is Mr. Chair, move to approve the draft findings and order receiving the petition and initiating proceedings as presented by our public drainage manager to acknowledge the petition, appoint Stantec as the engineer for CD 20, and direct the Kansas County Auditor Treasurer upon receipt of the engineer's report, set a date, time, and location for a public hearing on the petition.
And I'll second it.
Commissioner Dale Anderson seconds. Thank you both. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
I have one question.
Go ahead.
I have received, as you might imagine, all summer long concern about the water level on Green Lake. Now, this new structure going in will neither raise nor lower the current level of the water.
Correct. They're required to submit a hydraulic model, or the hydraulic model, they cannot increase the water level upstream by this new structure, and they also can't increase the water flowing downstream at a faster rate. So yes, specifically with the County Ditch 20 channel, they're replacing the bridge. Because they're replacing the bridge, they have to install a sheet pile structure with a cutout that matches the existing abutments of the existing bridge that's there now. Plus with that in combination with where they place the rocks at the 3% grade in the channel, the hydraulic model says that matches what's there now. There's a Supreme Court decision, I believe it was in
34 or 54.
1953, that sets, that water level is set for both the outlet at Calhoun and that diversion dam.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Ready to vote? All in favor of the motion as stated, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. And then Austin, you have one other report for us here, yes?
Yes.
And this is in respect to the June 13th flood damages.
Correct, yep. The next thing I have for you is the 2020, it's gonna be 2025 public drainage inspections for the June 13th flood damage. Historic rainfall on June 13th caused severe damage to public drainage infrastructure in Kansas County. My inspection reports document all the flood damage found. All repairs listed in the reports qualify for state aid disaster public assistance. I'll run through these reports with you quick here. So that's gonna be we'll start on page 107. Oh, perfect. Yeah, go 2 more. There you go. Next page, Melissa, please. Thank you. So there was a total of 5 systems inspected, or 5 systems that had flood damage. I inspected several other systems, or flew several other systems. But the 5 systems that had flood damage are JD1, JD7, County Ditch 24, County Ditch 10, and State Ditch 1. That's total about 118 miles for those systems. I found a total of 74 repairs. I know we've had other updates with the pictures and stuff, but this is just the official report. So we can authorize these repairs under 103-705. So there were 74 repairs, like I said, 70 of them are bank erosion, mostly on corners. 2 large blowouts where the ditch, or the water from the fields blew the whole bank away. And then 2 spots for channel blockage or debris removal. So on that page there, it shows the repair estimates. The grand total that I estimate is $900,677.58 to repair these with riprap. State aid would cover 75%. The ditch system costs would have to cover 25%. If you look at each individual system, JD1's total would be about $101,000. JD1, that the repair fund can easily cover that cost. JD7, $93,570. The repair fund for JD7 can easily cover that cost. County Ditch 24, $25,000. The repair fund can easily cover that cost, and then County Ditch 10 and State Ditch 1 are smaller numbers that easily covered by the repair fund. The $900,000 we'll be able to cover that till we're reimbursed with the ditch system funds. There's plenty in there for that. So we will go to the next page. This is a map that we've all seen a few times. It shows where we got the biggest amount of rain, the 4 watershed districts. The red lines are where all the drainage damage was. We had some drainage damage in Fallon and Lake Elizabeth townships coming out of the hills where the original rain dropped. And then most of the damage is actually on the outlets for all these bigger systems where the ditch either sat flooded for 2 months or flowed really fast in the case for JD7. So the first report there would be for JD1. There's 40 sites. It lists my standard stuff for the inspections. And it points out that this is flood damage caused by June 13th and qualifies for state disaster assistance. On the next page, it lists the total for that specific system. And then these repair numbers are all listed in that inspection report. You can reference each repair number to each site. We would, like I said, most of these, they're all gonna be repaired with granite riprap. We keep going down to the next system. Keep going. There you go, there's JD7's report. There's 24 sites for JD7. Again, the total repair estimate's at $374,000. We list all the maps again for each site. JD7 had, a majority of it was on corner damage or swirling at the road pipes. And we can keep going to County Ditch 24. There are 7 sites there. Total of $103,000. The estimated cost would be $25,000 for the ditch system. And then County Ditch 10, there's 2 sites there. And State Ditch 1 is 1 site. State Ditch 1 is a little bit unique. That's where the cattail bog shifted and closed the channel off. I'm gonna hire a specialized boat to take care of that. Any questions on the drainage inspections?
Commissioner Burton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If I understand you correctly, then that you can start proceeding on this immediately.
Correct.
And then all these individual bids, then you'll be bringing them in for board approval then? Or you group them together, or how do you do?
So
How does that all work?
the individual contracts are all gonna be under the required amount
Okay,
that you guys require for me to bring to you as the board for each individual site. So
we'll be seeing a lot of you.
yeah, no, you
But we
won't
won't
be.
be.
You won't
Okay.
be seeing me at all.
I didn't think, I was trying
Yep.
to avoid that.
Yep.
All right, great.
Yep.
Commissioner Emdeck, and then Commissioner Dale Anderson. And Dwayne, I'm sure you want.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
That's right.
Austin, all of this report is for the event on June 13th, correct?
Correct, yep.
And I can only assume there was other damage that happened from subsequent events. Is that fair?
Correct. I do have some damage from the, what it would be, the July 27th disaster that Ace was talking about this morning. Correct. I do have some damage up in the northwest part of the county for that.
And so
on
those,
drainage systems.
those would not qualify for any state aid funding then?
I do plan actually to submit to state aid.
Okay.
At first, I did not have enough to qualify for that $4,000 minimum, but now I do actually. And so yes, there is about 9 sites
And then this,
coming for that.
this is a tremendous amount of work.
Correct.
How long will it take you to,
So I have 2
Get this right.
contractors lined up so far that are gonna give me at least 4 weeks each. We'll be at the mercy of how, if the quarries run out of rock. If not, we will finish it in the spring. If we can't finish in the spring, we would apply for an extension. We'd finish it next fall for sure, so. I have
So
no
about a
doubt
year?
that- Yeah, I have no doubt that we can for sure finish it by next fall. I'm gonna try to get it done this fall.
Yeah.
I guess I have 2 things. I just want to thank Austin. I think he's done a lot of work to make, spending the time flying all these ditch systems and being in a boat. I'm sure you're sick of water, so,
Oh, yeah.
you know, definitely want to thank you for all the work you've done. But I just want to make a motion to adopt the public drainage inspection for the June 13th, 2025 flood damage and authorize all repairs.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second discussion. Commissioner
Yeah,
Dwayne.
I just want to say that Austin has had a very, very busy summer, and thanks for all the hard work you've done.
And just to be clear, the state aid comes in the form of reimbursements, correct?
Correct, yep.
Okay, so our costs will be reimbursed up to that 75%.
75% of each contract, yep.
All right.
I want to make one quick clarification. It's not our cost, it's the ditch system's cost. So if anybody's listening to this, it's not taxpayers outside of the ditch systems that are paying for this. It's the ditch systems
Correct.
in addition to the state aid money.
Yep, and if I would, I mean, this reimbursement from the state is a great thing for the ditch system. I mean, we're gonna get a lot of riprap armoring, you know, with,
Never let a good crisis go to waste,
correct.
is what you're saying.
Sure.
All right. With that, any other discussion? Hearing none, we have a motion that's been made and seconded to adopt the reports and authorize the repairs. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. And that brings your business here to a conclusion.
Correct, yep.
All right, I get confused on this one. Do we close the drainage authority?
Go back to
All right, we will close the drainage authority, and I'm looking at the clock, and we will remain in recess for an additional 5 minutes before we reconvene the county board.
Josh, let me grab you. Can I talk to you?
The Candido High County Board of Commissioners is back from recess, and we'll move back a little bit then into the agenda. We've got 2 items from our county administrator. Kelsey, go ahead.
Kelsey Baker, Candioi County Administrator. Before you today, we have the Eagle View Agreement for Candioi County. This was included in your board packet. I just not gonna let myself live that one down. And so this is a 4-year agreement. We've had a contract with Eagle View, formerly Pictometry. So GIS, this is how we get all of our images. It's a 4-year agreement. We do a flyover every 2 years. Cool thing about this agreement is we are going to 1-inch pictures, which they will be a lot clearer. Specifically, this will really help our assessors department. And so how this agreement benefits Candioi County internally is Public Works, Planning and Zoning, Law Enforcement, Public Safety, dispatchers, assessors, Auditor Treasurer, Environmental Services, Glacial Lake Sewer. The list could go on. I use it all the time. It's a great service that we provide to the public. The public uses it a lot. And so this is annually, the cost will be $117,365 per year for every 4 years. We will be utilizing some of our technology funds in our recorder's office, which is Minnesota Statute 375.18, that we can utilize these funds for this service. And then we will be utilizing other technology funds to offset some of the payments as well. This is something that we want to continue to do to provide for the county. Like I said, it supports a wide range of functions internally and externally. So before you today, I would be asking for approval regarding the agreement. And then just to one note, the county attorney has reviewed this as well.
All right, you've heard from the administrator,
Yeah.
Commissioner Berg.
Thank you. Yes, I had just a couple of questions. So this is covered by our budget going forward. And the other question is this necessary? And what I hear, it is very necessary in so many different, especially on the emergency management end of it. And safety.
Absolutely. I just listed off a few, but really,
Yeah.
you could essentially say all county departments, all county functions. We contract with our county surveyor, which does all of our GIS work. And so a portion of that, yes, is levied then to pay for the service, and then we're utilizing these technology funds as well.
And then, Mr. Chair, I would so move to approve.
So Commissioner Berg moves to approve the contract with Eagle View. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Dale Anderson seconds. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Commissioner Imdahl.
Just a clarification. So the cost is 117 and change per year for 4 years, and then do they do this every 10 years or something, or is it, because I think you said every year for 4 years.
Yep. It's a 4-year agreement. They do the flyover every 2.
And then when the 4 years are up, do we start over again? So is this gonna be an ongoing budget item, roughly of 120,000 a year?
Roughly around 120 we would be planning for budgetary item, correct?
And is that because things change, or?
New structures, new building permits, things like that. We've had a lot of new builds in 24 and 25, and so it helps our assessor staff look at property and not go out to the homes. And same with Public Works, I think same for planning and zoning. So,
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Berg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. How much was the increase then from before, roughly, or do you have that by any chance?
it was, I'd have to look in my email of what we're currently paying.
You can get that to me later,
Yep.
yeah. Fine.
Any other questions of the administrator? Hearing none, then we have a motion and a second to approve the agreement. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Thank you. And then our next item is the Candido High County logo. Kelsey, go ahead.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, if I may just answer Corky's question, because I was like, oh, I feel like I've seen it. It is, this equals the same amount that we had for the project, spread over 6 years instead of 4 prior. So this was prior 6-year agreement at that 117, and so we're getting it for the 4-year agreement at the 117,000.
Okay.
Odd change,
Okay.
correct. So,
That
yeah, it's really, and like I said, the 1 inch going will be very beneficial.
Great.
So, sorry. Again, Kelsey Baker, Candioi County Administrator. So, Melissa, will you pull that up on the screen? Today before you, we have the logo, introducing the new logo for Candioi County. This is something that was kind of spurred before, spurred within administration, talked about within the strategic plan. It's kind of design is change, and change isn't always easy. And but I think at this point, with the board approving the strategic plan, looking at where we're at, this gives us a fresh look and represents who we are today and where we're headed tomorrow. It's a reflection of our growth, our values, shared commitment, and serving this community with integrity and purpose. And so over the past 2 years, if you go to the next slide, our county logo has, this was around 10-ish, 12 years old. Prior to the current logo, there was a different modified version of this logo. And so when we move forward with the strategic plan, it's also became clear that we need a visual identity for ourselves. And this logo that we currently have maybe just no longer fits who we are today. We're hoping that this updated logo captures the energy and represents our rich history and provides the momentum that we're looking at moving forward. We did gather feedback from staff, department heads, and community voices. We asked, what does Candioi County mean to you? What does that look like? What should the people look at when they see Candioi County logo? We had our design partners create several different concepts that we looked at. And so as you can see here, we have the current existing logo and the proposed new logo that we would be going with, which we hope that symbolizes the strength of our rural roots, the natural beauty of our lakes and prairies, manufacturing, industry, and the connection between people and the place. And so this clean design hopefully represents transparency, progress, and trust that define who we are for public service. If you go to the next slide, we kind of put in what this means for Candioi County. And these were words that we've talked a lot about within our strategic plan. It's a visual expression of our mission to empower communities through integrity, purpose, and collaboration. And so the colors we can always change. We felt that this navy color represented the lakes and who we are. That can change per department if we look at that into a little bit more detail. But we do feel that our employees, we want that mission to be real through teamwork, innovation, dedication to public service. And we hope that our new logo ties in those values and gives us a consistent, professional, clean image that represents who we are today and who we will be tomorrow. One thing to note before we go to the next slide is you can read those words. This was a very low financial cost. This is going to be a gradual rollout. We aren't getting rid of anything currently with the logo. We will gradually roll this out. We have worked with a local graphic design company here in Willmar that is doing this at no cost. There will be a cost if we roll out certain new logo items with employees. That is budgeted within administration. Very low cost to that as well, which would be my goal. But one thing to note is we didn't want this to be a quick or a large change. We wanted this to be a gradual, soft rollout. You might see our logo on a county vehicle and we might be having the new logo, but we're not going to toss that out right away. And it's a decal that we work with Public Works on doing. And so if you go to the next slide, though, it does kind of show what it would look like on our email signature, maybe on our employee intranet, on our social media pages. We will put it on letterhead, vehicles, maybe not vehicles, sorry, I don't know why I said that. We just talked about that. We want people to know who we are. And so there will be some rolling out of different things on social media, which are no cost for us. And we will try, like I said, keep the cost at very minimum is our goal. and just to do a gradual rollout. And I think with the strategic plan being approved, this will align with our mission and values. And like I said, change isn't always easy, change is hard, but change can also be really exciting. And I feel that with the staff that we have now and the board, that this is a meaningful change and does reflect on who we are. And we hope that this new logo will unite us with connecting with our past, present, and future, and that our residents and partners and staff will grow to appreciate this and will continue building a strong Candioi County.
I just want to say that I saw some of the earlier efforts, and to go from what was at that point in time to this is night and day. I absolutely love this, and I'm hard to please when it comes to graphic stuff like this. Those of you who are on the EDC Joint Powers Board know that I had some concerns about that particular rollout, and it's fine. But I'm really pleased that this is going to be a low-cost update, and it's going to be a gradual rollout. No need to throw away any letterhead or anything like that just because it has the old logo on it. So I think it's smart, I think it's current, and I think it's time. Anyone have any questions? Commissioner Dale Anderson.
I guess I don't have any questions, just a comment. I did have a couple people that had concerns and questions, and I actually asked a few people this morning before our meeting what they thought if we changed our logo. And I think the biggest thing that, and I talked to Kelsey about it, the biggest thing is that we aren't going to make this a big expense. I mean, that's, I think everybody's biggest concern is that changing a logo usually costs a lot of money. And if we can do this at very little cost or no cost, that's to me the important part. The one thing I really like, and I'm looking at what you have on the screen right now, is the fact that we can use different colors for different things to make it a little bit original for each different application. I think that's one thing that really adds to the effect of changing this logo. But other than that, I'm fine with it.
Roger, then me.
Commissioner,
Thank you. So from what Commissioner Dale Anderson just said, is there gonna be different renditions of this logo? So like all five of us could be wearing a different shirt like Commissioner Gardner is and have a different brand on each shirt?
No, it's still gonna be the same design, but let's say, Public Works, Environmental Services, we put them in the orange color. And it says Public Works and the branding on the bottom. Lots of times you'll see a commissioner with the same color on the print for the t-shirt, you know, if it's gray on gray.
Yeah, tone on tone. yeah.
Tone on tone, thank you. That's something that we would do, but I think for the embroidery and the logo and the clothing, we're not gonna change those colors.
So if I may continue.
yes.
I think it's valuable for people to, especially in branding, to recognize, oh, that's Three Sisters, or that's, Candioi County, the consistency and having it at least pretty similar. The other question I had is, because if this becomes a Minnesota state flag, who is we? When you say we, who is we?
When
Who
I
made,
said-
who made these decisions? Yeah.
We talked to department heads and staff. Melissa and I talked to staff, and then she emailed the county commissioners. And then she went to certain departments and buildings and talked to staff. So when I say we, administration, department heads and staff.
Okay.
And I had seen some of the earlier work and some of the ongoing as well, so. Commissioner Burke.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, first off, I want to say I understand, things have to change. And I'm probably one of these, I deal really well with change, but I do like the old logo. But again, there's times it was not functional. When we put it on the flag for Prime West, you could hardly see the detail. But I do like the old one, and I like the two guys in the fishing boat. I can think of maybe myself and somebody else in that boat. So, but this will work, and I'll support this going forward. And it does identify us quickly where we are. But The old one
Can I ask
is
one more
prettier.
clarifying question?
Pardon me?
Go ahead.
So in every case, it'll be the KC with Kaneohe County underneath it, right?
Maybe
Whatever
not every
rendition?
case, so like you can see on the example with the Candioi County intranet, we maybe wouldn't put the wording underneath.
But it would have that wording in there. Can do a county.
It does, yep,
Yeah,
it
that's what
currently
I'm saying,
does,
yeah.
yep, so like if
So if
you
we
were to
did do
buy,
that,
purchase
exactly.
a shirt, it would say Candioi County underneath.
Yeah, because you don't want them to think of it as Kansas City Royal baseball team or something like that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right.
KC.
Or Kanabec County here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions, comments, Dwayne? No. No? Okay. So it is the recommendation of staff that we adopt this new logo, and do we have a motion? If not, I'll offer the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of adoption of the new logo signify by saying aye.
Hi.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, and
Thank you for your work on
congratulations.
this.
Thank you to everybody who was involved in this. I think it is absolutely stellar work. With that, we are now at the point of administrative updates, appointments, calendar, and committee reports. I see there is a bullet point under here. Mel has us scheduled for a Road and Bridge work session bus tour after our next meeting, 1 to 3 o'clock. Mel, do you have anything to add on that? Is that going to be pretty similar to last year?
What our envision is we would look at local option sales tax projects, work our way to Spicer, look at a trail that we got federal funds for. Go to New London, look how the interchange, work our way up to the Howick area, and then come back to the Diamond Lake access that we did through State Park Road account, and as well as levy dollars, and then return home. So, and we might point out a few things along the way, but it's just grab a cup of coffee and let's go. And we'll have a map.
Thank you. Then we'll go to, there are no appointments, correct? I didn't see anything. How about committee, calendar and committee reports, commissioner reports? Yes.
I'd be happy to go first, and I'm going to just really skip over my reports, but I do want to say a couple of different things. I just want to give credit and talk about, or share about the Flags of Honor luncheon we had, and that was an excellent job recognizing all the people in Kaneohe County that's from the veterans doing that service, and it was really well done. So thank you for everyone taking part in that. Also, I'd like to mention Commissioner Emdek. You may not mention it. You got appointed to the board for the Highway 23 coalition, so he's officially on the board. And he and I attended that meeting, so that's, and then also Brittany from Public Health got some award. Do you want to just comment on that real quickly, or? I should have.
I don't know much about it.
No, other than.
But yes, I
that's
will,
what-
I
it
can
was
provide
in
a
the paper,
update.
yes.
Yep, Brittany Schmalz
Oh,
received an
good,
award.
yeah, thank you. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Imdek, do you have anything?
I don't recall after the special meeting, did we do report outs? I don't think. I would just.
That was a long time.
I would just comment that, along with the Public Works Director and yourself, Commissioner Gardner, we were in Washington DC for the Transportation Alliance, and I think it was pretty productive. I mean, 10 days later, maybe as a result, the government shut down as a result of us being there. But anyway, we advocated obviously for transportation. That was the function and focus of the meeting, and I think we also had a great opportunity with our own delegation in regards to congressionally or community-directed spending earmarks to advocate for the 2 water tower reclamations in the Glacier Lakes system. So there was that, and yesterday we had the AMC Policy Coordinating Committee that Commissioner Gardner and I were both on as a result of being policy chairs. And, I attended the MACAC at Cragen's last week. That's always a really good conference. And some of the best speakers I've heard in my 13 years always seem to be at MACAC. In fact, the one that keynote speaker may be showing up at AMC in the future. That's it.
That's it. Thank you. Commissioner Dale Anderson.
I'm kind of quiet, so the only thing I had was a tourism meeting yesterday, and that was at, I'm gonna draw a blank. I drew a blank, sorry.
Did you go to the Norway Games?
I did not. I did not make it to that meeting, so let Dwayne go and I'll think it'll pop.
I feel your pain. Dwayne, go ahead.
All right, so since our last county board meeting, I
bet it
had
was.
3 different meetings.
in
It
my
was
head.
actually fairly light, which kind of surprised me, but I had Armors or Central Minnesota Emergency Services Board meeting was on the 24th of September. That was pretty much routine. Then on the 25th, I had a UCAP meeting. They, those places they're building, let's see, beyond, well, I think of it as County Road 23 coming into Wilmer, but they're finalizing that. They still are they're gonna have an open house on it eventually, I guess, and tours, but not sure when that date will be yet, but that was kind of the exciting part of UCAP. And then on yesterday, I had a Vision 2040 meeting, and so a lot of stuff going on, kind of coming up and stuff, but one of the things I mentioned at that meeting was October is manufacturing month, and there are some local businesses that are giving tours. And if you want to know about that, you got to contact maybe Central Minnesota Jobs and Training, or maybe Career Force might be able to connect you up with tours if you want to go see some of the local businesses that are manufacturing stuff. And one thing that I found out on that committee is that highest paying jobs in Minnesota are in manufacturing. So, and they said if you question that, they said just go look at the parking lots and see what kind of vehicles they drive. So that's surprising. I always thought it was healthcare that was the highest paying. So that's mine.
Thank you.
All right, now I can do
You're
it.
good now?
So it was at Dickerson's Resort, and that place has been around for 100 years, so it's kind of a rarity thing that we have a resort that's been around that long. And they had a good meeting there. The other couple of things I went to was we had a watershed, Shakopee Creek watershed meeting up in Glenwood, and just updates on different projects that are going on. We have a project on Norway Lake that is being funded by that right now, to study how the water quality is in that lake. And just an update on that. And then I was at a library meeting with Dwayne on the 18th for financial part. So that's all I have.
All right, and I'll go last and I'll be brief. And no, I am not a big fan of pirates, but this is kind of a necessary thing. A week ago Monday, I had a procedure that found that there was a tear in my retina, and so instead of a 2-week recovery like I was anticipating, this is gonna be about 6 weeks. And they tell me I can't drive because I don't have decent depth perception, and I get that, but it sure puts a crimp in my style. So there's a couple of things that are out of town this week that I'm just not going to. The Shack retreat, Commissioner Snow from Renville County is going to be there, as well as our 2 public health folks. And so they'll have that covered, and then I am not going to be at the AMC board meeting on Friday. So, but hopefully I'll be able to start picking things up again shortly after that. This took a little bit of the starch out of me, I guess. Just to comment on the Washington DC trip. I thought that our meetings with the members of the Minnesota delegation and their staff were good meetings. I think they're going to ultimately be productive in one way, shape, or form. We were very happy to get some, well, it wasn't undivided time because she was in a Ways and Means Committee meeting at the time, but to be able to have Representative Fischbach listening to us about some of those things that we wanted to advance, and hopefully that is able to be well heard and amount to some action for us. And the other thing that I have is that we are tentatively scheduled for the 6th of next month, which is a Thursday, to have a group of folks interested in housing go up to Otter Tail County. Visited with Board Chair Wayne Johnson up there, as well as their Economic Development Director. And they'd be willing to take us out on a tour, looking for about 25 or 30 folks from all across the county to be able to sit in on this. They have what's called the Big Build, and that's a goal of 5,000 new affordable homes, either rehabbed or built new. And we're talking single family here, and right now they're up to about 3,200. We might as well learn from somebody who's doing it and doing it successfully and find out what it is they're doing, see if there's any of that we can replicate here. So we're gonna be working on getting that put together. If you or anyone out there has any interest in that, contact me directly. That'd be great. And with that, that's all I have. Do we have anything else for the good of the order? If not, then we will adjourn this meeting of the Candiota County Board of Commissioners. Thank you, everyone.